also to know what is the change which has happened so far, how the industries evolved right from 1700s, 1800s, what are all the revolutions happened, and what is going to happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years if they have to upgrade themselves by doing any particular course, or if they are looking at changing from one industry to another industry, which is better. So it is more of an awareness session where we come to know what is this industrial revolution for and how it is already changed various organizations and industries, and still for the next 5, 10, 15 years till the industry revolution 5 comes, what is going to happen. So it's more of an awareness session. So I am again reminding you guys, so please keep your paper and pen ready, and please take notes. So Industry 4 revolution. Before going to Industry 4 revolution, let us quickly understand what is an industrial revolution is all about. So we all know a revolution is nothing but change. Okay, so a big change, a transformation rather than change. Yes, this is the right word. A transformation happening from one level to the another level such that it doesn't go back, right? So industrial revolution is a fundamental change the way the organization, the industry works, particularly how the way the goods are produced, how the services are given by various organizations, how the machines work, how the labor work, and the more efficient means of production, and which gives a higher level of production, efficiency, effectiveness, how machines were invented, how it replaced labor, how energy sources are moved from one place to another place, how we started using various energy sources in the industries, how we started using more and more metals and minerals, and then latestly on technologies. So these are all the things which comes under industry revolution. So this is very, very broad definition of an industrial revolution. So today's topic is on industrial revolution 4. So which means that there is already industrial revolution 1, 2, and 3. So we will quickly go through and find out what is this industrial revolution 1 did to the industries, and 2 and 3, so that we understand the history better, then go and explore more about Industry Revolution 4. So Industry Revolution 1 actually happened somewhere in the 18th century. So the manufacturing process, which was more into human manual type of a manufacturing process, slowly converted into automation by way of using steam power. So the first source of power, energy, whatever you call, which was started using in the industry is basically the steam power, and hence the production was mechanized. So this is the first industry revolution. So before the first industry revolution, manufacturing was more of a manual process. So then the steam power came into picture. Then the industry people learned how to use the steam power and mechanize their production. So what happened here is the volumes increased by 8 times. That is the effect which this industry revolution 1 created, and the productivity improved a lot. That is the time when the steam engines were also started being used in locomotives and all that. So this is very broad introduction to Industrial Revolution 1. So the change which happened before and after is the steam power use in the production industries. Then comes Industry Revolution 2. Now we are using steam. So what next? Electricity. Electricity is the major source of power and energy in Industry Revolution 2. When people started using the electricity from steam, that is where the Industry Revolution 2 started. Started in somewhere around the 19th century in the initial stage. And that is when Henry Ford introduced this concept of mass production. So he went to a slaughterhouse in Chicago, and then he found how the butchering happening there. He found out that the pigs were hung in conveyor belts, and those pigs in conveyor belt moved from one place to another place, and each and every butcher did a part of work. So he got an idea, why can't I use this in my factory? So in my automobile factory, why I cannot use this concept? And that is how he introduced this concept called assembly line production. So these are all the two changes which happened in the second industrial revolution. One is electricity, second is introduction of the assembly line production. So it is not 10 people together working in the same assembly plant where they completely assemble a car. No, it is like 10 people will be spread across in an assembly line, and the product will move from one place to another place, and each and every person will do a part of it. So at the end, what happens is the final product comes out. So the efficiency increases a lot. Now today, if you go to any of the mechanical manufacturing industries, this is the basic way of assembly. So this revolution happened in the second industrial revolution. This reduced the cost of production also significantly. Then comes the third industrial revolution in the 20th century, okay, in the late 70s, where partial automation happened and memory programmable controls on computers. So third industrial revolution, the key word is computers played a major role, and every organization, either in the production or in the service, started using computers in their work. So there a lot of automation started, and the complete production process became automated without much of human assistance. So the human assistance moved from a more of a labor physical support to more of a brainy support by way of programming and all that. So this is the thing which has changed in the third industrial revolution. So just to give you a summary, the industry one revolution around 1765, and the major thing is mechanization, steam power. Industry 2 around 1870, mass production, assembly line, and electricity. Third, around 1969, 1970, automation, computers, electronics. Computer is the major keyword here. So this is what has happened up to Industry Revolution 3. Then in Industry Revolution 4 came in. This is actually, it's not a new one. It is already there for almost a decade now. So more of a cyber, physical systems, IoT, networks, advanced usage of computers is the keywords in Industry Revolution 4. So Industry Revolution 4 consists of these parameters. So these are all the things which happened in Industry Revolution 4. One is advanced robotics, use of advanced robotics, IoT, big data, augmented reality, horizontal vertical integration, simulation, cloud technology, additive manufacturing, and cyber security. So these 9 things are part of this Industry 4 revolution. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain each and every part of this line very, very quickly, just to give you a basic understanding. And I will also try to give you one example so that you can relate this and see where it is getting used. There are many, many usages, but I will try to give one or two so that your understanding is good. Advanced robotics, we all know robots are being used in manufacturing for the last 10 years, 15 years, but the type of robots which were used in those times were slightly different, and the type of robots which we are using currently is something different. These are all advanced robots. So that is why it is called as advanced robotics. It is not purely robotics, it is advanced robotics. So the robots will eventually interact with one another and also work safely side by side with humans and learn from them. So earlier in the initial stage when the robots were invented, they were very costly. Not many organizations had affordability to buy a robo or deploy robo in their manufacturing and service processes. But today, since the robo technology is already there for the last 10, 15 years, it is becoming cost effective. So many organizations can afford robo technology in their manufacturing. This is what happens, like any technology when it comes in the very initial stage, the cost will be very, very higher. But as it goes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the cost becomes slightly lesser so that more people can afford that. So robots is a very basic thing in today's manufacturing, so which is the first part in the fourth industrial revolution. Examples of where these robots are being used. So the first picture which you see is the robo restaurant where the food is being delivered by the robots. Okay, so the order is being taken by the robots. You just go and sit, then the robot come to your place, gives you the menu, takes the order, and then goes and delivers, brings the food from the kitchen, delivers to your table. So this is one place where the robots are being used. The second picture is a car manufacturing assembly plant. Very, very simple. You all know almost all manufacturing assembly lines in Germany, which is a hub of automobile engineering, is all automatic robots. Most of the assembly, 90 to 95 percentage of the parts assembly happens by robots. Even in India, the technology has picked up. Big manufacturers, car manufacturers, or any other automobile manufacturers use this technology today. The third one, which you see, is the small ones below, or robos, which are used in a warehouse also. So, in warehouse, to store the products in various places, to retrieve those products from the storage, robos are being used. It is completely remote control. You have to just give a press of a button. You have to just give an instruction to them from which place this product has to be brought, and that will be brought to the place where it will be shipped. So robots are being used. This is the two, three examples which I gave you, but robots are being used in many places. Now, again, there is a question here. If robots becomes very affordable, and in the future, whether everything will be robots will replace the jobs? No. What happens is, in any revolution, certain organizations which can afford a particular cost will go and adopt that particular technology and then deploy that. But we also know there are certain organizations in every industry which is a medium scale, so they cannot afford robots. So there, your traditional way of manufacturing will continue. So in any industry revolution, it doesn't mean that the previous thing is completely replaced and the new one comes into picture. No. What happens is that the previous one also, the manual manufacturing also continues. At the same time, whichever industry, whichever company can afford robots will start using the robots. Merlin, can you please mute all? There is some disturbance sound in the background. This is about robotics, the first part in the industry 4 revolution. So again, a caution: robo is not going to replace everybody's job. Manual job, brainy job is going to continue, but more and more application of robots wherever possible are going to come. Next is Internet of Things, IoT. So IoT is also a very big term in IT. Most of the today's IT projects, which the IT companies, software companies do, is on IoT, and we do get a lot of requirements for IoT engineers, which is again one of the future job opportunities. Already, a lot of software companies are hiring IoT engineers. So, what is IoT? Is nothing but more devices, sometimes including unfinished products, will be enriched with embedded computing. So this we actually started using long back when I was working in with LG Equipments, which is a compressor manufacturing company between 2000 to 2004. They already started using this IoT technology in a very basic way. They used to manufacture compressors which were used in industries. We used to get a lot of complaint from the industries that because of not proper maintenance and the spare parts wear and tear, their cost of maintenance of the compressor is increasing. The main problem is that they are not tracking it properly such that they can maintain it at the correct duration. They were missing the schedules, oiling it, cleaning it, they were misusing it, and they were missing it. So what LG did is they used this embedded technology. and whichever place in whichever industry this compressor is working, that is monitored by a control room in their factory in Coimbatore. And wherever there is an indication that it needs maintenance, it needs oil or whatever spare parts required, advance notification we will get it in the computer systems in the factory, and we will alert the client customer that this is the problem due for maintenance. So what happens is that advance information helps them to take care of the maintenance properly, change the spare part, etc., etc. So this reduced the maintenance cost of the compressors drastically. So this is just one example of embedded technology where you control a particular thing which is very, very far away sitting in the computer room. Right? So this will allow field devices to communicate and interact both with one another and with more centralized controllers as necessary. It will also decentralize the analytics and decision making, enabling real-time response. So this is what IoT is all about. Just to show you a few examples, you have various consumer durables, your wearable devices, okay, the smart infrastructures which you have, security surveillance systems, even it is used in transportations, right? So these are all the various applications of this IoT technology. Healthcare is one which has picked up this IoT, and the advanced healthcare solution providers are using the IoT technology. Retail industries to serving their clients, customers, they are using it. Industries are using it for quite some time now. It is also getting used in the transportation industry. Quickly moving to the third one, big data and analytics. You all know today data is the data is gold, right? So that's what they say. So various decisions are taken based on data and analytics. There is a lot of job opportunities today on analytics. So even in HR now there is a separate vertical called HR analytics. So like that you have in retail analytics, production analytics, and it's not very simple average, mean, median, mode, not all those things. There are advanced analytics which are being used, and the data gives you a trend and it tells you this is what you are supposed to do. This is getting used in the industries very largely. But the data, various companies also collect the data in different ways. I will give you one my personal example. Almost a year back, I was just googling about the integrated 5 year MBA course in IIM Indore. IIM Indore is the only place where you have 5 years integrated, where after the plus two, the students can go and directly admit in the 5 years course, and then when they finish, they come out as MBA. So I was just trying to Google and find out more about the course details, IIM Indore, how many years, how the selection goes, to their website. I just typed in Google search, it took me to IIM Indore website. I went there, then I saw all the details and then closed. For the next 1 month, whenever I was surfing net, whenever I go to Google, on the side you can always see there will be a strip where the advertisements come automatically when we open various sites. I started getting advertisements of institutes which were providing coaching for the entrance examination of IIM Indore, which I never searched. Okay, so I never searched for coaching. I never searched for entrance examination. I went, I Googled just IIM Indore integrated 5 years MBA, went to their website. That's all. But my search history has been already captured by these institutes which are providing coaching for this particular examination, and that advertisements started coming on the site. So that is how various organizations now are capturing data. They are capturing our browsing history. They do analytics and they do marketing. Why they do? Because they know if somebody is searching for this, they may require a entrance examination coaching. So why don't we put our products? So this is how the advertisement happens. Many of you would have already experienced it. So, but this is one example which I thought I will share it with you. Now, where these big data and analytics are being used in retail, as you know, your complete purchase history, even if you go to any online website where you purchase, example, big basket, Amazon, you always will get suggestions based on your purchase. You get suggestions. So that is nothing but they take your search pattern, purchase pattern, and then they give suggestions to you. Finances and fraud services again uses this. You go and Google any insurance related product, then you will start getting various advertisements on your site. Web and digital media, health and life sciences, telecommunication, e-commerce, customer service, data. Now today data is becoming very important, and most of the organization depend on data for taking major divisions. How is the sales going on, in which region the sales increases, why it decreases, in which day they get maximum bills, and what is the bill value, in which area what product sells most. In this particular outlet, in area 1 this product sells more, whereas in area B this is the other product which sells more, and hence push this one more here, push more here. And if you want to give some discount schemes, push for this particular product because it is selling less in this particular retail outlet, so do promotion of this product so that the product will sell more. So every decision is being taken by data, which is almost reliable. But again, it's not that only data. You have to apply your brain and see what type of solutions you can do using the data. Augmented reality, so we all know what it is, right? So AR VR has played a major role during COVID also. Augmented reality based system supports a variety of services such as selecting parts in a warehouse, sending their repair instructions over mobile devices. So this is a fantastic AR VR technology which is again revolutionizing the world today. To give you an example of AR VR, right? So you would have seen this device. It is available in Amazon. It has become very affordable in India as well. Okay, so I have seen this device, a particular brand, which is around 40,000 rupees, Indian rupees. We have a 30,000 version also, depending upon the GB. And there are 150 games. You have a roller coaster. You just put it, and you can feel that you are going on a roller coaster. Amazing. You actually fall down. Okay, so there are 150 free games available, and then downloadable games. So this is the next revolution which is happening. Last year during the COVID time, in the initial peak, the first wave peak time, the transport leisure industry was affected very badly. So in that time, one company in Germany came out with this innovative concept. So what they did is using AR VR, they still continued their tourism. They were into tourism, okay, taking people to various locations and showing them the sites and all that. So they converted everything into AR VR, and they said that our tourism, our tours are still continuing, though the flights are down, there is no transportation. We will take you to places, and they brought everything through AR VR, and then their business continued. People were sitting in their home, and it was a lockdown, and they were finding it difficult to pass time. So this particular technology change by this particular tourism company in Germany revolutionized the world, and still people took trips virtually, and then they had their own experience. So this is how the industries use technology whenever, wherever they find an opportunity to use. AR VR is actually picked up now. I will not say it is a entrant now. It has already entered, and it is in a very advanced stage. Horizontal vertical integration, more and more industries are doing this. So what is horizontal integration, and what is vertical integration? So let me straight away go to an example so that we will understand with the example. Horizontal integration is certain organizations which are basically finding cost as a major challenge, and they find there is another operator, there is another company in the same field. They try to collaborate each other so that their cost becomes effective. For example, Vodafone and Idea in India collaborated each other. They said that you are also on the telecom stage, I am also on the telecom stage. You are also constructing towers, I am also putting towers. And both our technology, network, everything is all investment, huge investment. So why don't we share with each other? So I can share my network to you, the technology to you, you can share. So that becomes cost effective because you have a big player like Reliance, which doesn't bother about the cost, invest. So we have to also go in that way. Let's do it together. Marriott and Starwood, you know the story. Arcelor and Mittal, they combine. So what happens? This is an example of horizontal integration where two organizations which are into a similar business tie up with each other so that they become more effective, cost effective, and their market share becomes more than the market leader. So they become the leader. So these are all the various reasons why someone will go for a horizontal integration. But on the other side, there are organizations which is looking for vertical integration. Example, Reliance can do vertical integration. Here what happens? There are various process. Okay. So for example, you take garment manufacturing, there is something called as first you have to grow the cotton, then the cotton has to be converted into threads, then fabric, and then the garment comes. If the cotton manufacturer is a different guy, the thread is a different guy, fabric is a different guy, and then the garment manufacturing is a different guy, each and every company will put a profit margin. So the company with the very deep pocket will come back and say, why I have to give profit to these guys? I will do the entire business. I will do right from starting of cotton till garments so that the in between profit is for me. And the final product when I sell, I can sell it at a very, very competitive cost because I can include all this for profits. Right? So that is called as vertical integration. And for this, the organization should be deep pocketed because a lot of investment is required. So it's not for all organization, it's only for few organization which can afford that particular cost. So example what I have given here is Nescafe, which did that, which took over transportation, which took over the retail thing. They said that I will do all this so that there is no additional cost going on to others. Right. So the next one is very, very interesting, simulation. So why do we do simulation? We do simulation in cases where the cost of testing in the real world scenario is too high. We cannot do that. So what happens is simulation happens in the controlled environment, in the lab environment. You put every other possibility into place and see how the product comes out, how the product reacts, how the medicines which we are manufacturing reacts with various people at various scenarios, and then ensure that it is perfect, and then go to the market and do the real testing. So here the simulation is nothing but testing in a controlled environment, developing the product in the controlled environment. Example is all aviation projects. All aviation projects are first undergoes a simulation first testing, and then only they go, because in aviation anything and everything is very costly and it is very risky. So they cannot straight away go and test in the real scenario. So aviation is one example. Medical, of course, the COVID vaccination also, once they developed, it went so many testing, so many testing, and then it comes out. So we have already seen testing rat is one word which we normally use. So any medicines which they manufacture, they test it on rat and then on other animals and then on human being. Even this vaccination which we have today, after all the testing, it was tested in humans also. So one of my friend was also part of that, and he was also tested to see how effective it is, whether there is a negative effect and all that. So medical industry uses testing. Mathematics is all about simulation, and there are many examples in manufacturing also. They do simulation in
Sorry, everyone, there is a technical problem. So Dr. Venkataramanan will be coming back soon, but I do believe we are all enjoying the session, as I am, because I was very captivated and I've got quite a lot of notes, and I do believe that all of us are enjoying the session. So please, if you do have questions, even during the presentation, just drop it in the box, and then we will read them through after the session. And thank you very much for you all. I believe everyone is doing well and safe. God with the COVID, I believe everyone are safe in their home and everything is going well. Yes, Dr. Venkataramanan is back. I think there's just a problem. He will connect with us soon.
As expected, we have internet issues in Congo. Right.
Yes.
So, where you guys lost me?
On the
Yes,
simulation.
Doctor, by the simulation part.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the simulation happens in aviation industry because anything and everything in aviation is very very costly and risky. So it happens in a controlled environment. They check and check and check and check, and then when they are 1000% sure, then they go for physical testing, various physical testings, and then it goes live. In medical, any new manufacturing, any new medicine, it is always tested in a simulated lab, including COVID vaccinations. The same has happened, and then it goes to the market. Mathematics is always about simulation. Manufacturing industries also, to reduce their failures and to reduce their cost, they do simulation in the lab, and then they go for the real-time testing. The next is the cloud technology. So we all know that cloud is the order of the day. 20 years back, 30 years back, every company will have a huge room where they used to store data, data, data. Okay, so your storage device itself will occupy a huge room, and so computers will be of a very big size. But now we all know that every technology, every data is being stored in cloud only. We all know the SAP, how it started initially, and now today the SAP HANA version, the latest SAP version, it is on cloud. So the cloud is the technology which is going to revolutionize. It's already revolutionized. So the storage spaces are getting reduced. The advantage of shared places happens. We all know that whatever YouTube videos we are looking at is not sitting in our laptop. It is somewhere stored in the cloud, and we go and access and see that. All our emails, the Gmails, these emails are never stored in our computer. If it is stored in our computer, then we can have access to the email only in one laptop. But wherever we go, we just log in and see. So that's a very, very simple example of cloud technology. Google Docs, where we all save our files and then share with each other. So cloud computing is becoming a norm today. Additive manufacturing, a very 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 interesting manufacturing technology. This is also called as 3D printing. Okay, so this industry 4 revolution has brought one very good thing, which is an additive manufacturing technology, which is reducing the manufacturing cost drastically, and the time to deliver is immediate. During the COVID time, in the very initial COVID time, when China got affected, we all know that they erected a huge hospital in 2 weeks' time. So that was using this additive manufacturing only. So that's one very quick example. That quick is how you can manufacture, you can set up an hospital in 2 weeks' time. It was few thousand bed hospital, if you remember, the very initial stage where you had the COVID situation. So this is one example. How additive manufacturing happens, the technology is very simple. We have two type of manufacturing: the very old traditional manufacturing method, which is called as subtractive manufacturing, and the new manufacturing now, which is called as an additive manufacturing. So this is very technical, but I will explain to you in a very simple way. In subtractive manufacturing, what happens is, to manufacture this particular screw, you need to have a strip of a metal, a block of a metal, which will be converted into a screw by removing the unwanted parts. So in the very first picture, if you see, this is how the traditional manufacturing in manufacturing a screw happens. In the next technology, which is the additive technology, to start with, there is nothing. To start with, there is nothing. And in the additive manufacturing, layers and parts will be added, and then the screw comes out. So what happens here is the wastage of material and energy and the time is saved in this particular technology. It's a very simple Subtractive manufacturing, you take a piece of a metal, grind it, make a lot of waste, and then bring the screw out. But in additive manufacturing, there is no block of material, nothing. You start putting material there to the shape of the screw, which we have already drawn through a CAD, and then the screw alone comes out. So the time is very fast, and if there are any mechanical engineering students, you will know what is the type of energy you need to spend in taking out the screw from this particular block. So all that is getting saved. So this is a very simple example of additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is also used in construction industries. That is the example which I gave you earlier, the hospital which was constructed in China, and many houses in US, Europe are being constructed using this technology. So normally people will say my 2 BHK, 3 BHK in US was constructed in 1 month time. Okay, so that's possible because of Lakshmi is smiling. I think she has seen that in US. Right. So whereas the construction in India, it takes years together. So it's a very simple technology. Mostly as of now, the industries are using because it's costly at this point of time. But slowly, India will also catch up in the manufacturing in the real estate sector. Moving ahead, cyber security. Now, when all these things, the first eight things which we talked about, is about IT, systems, computers, cloud, internet. There is always a question which comes: what happens to the security of the data? Okay, so that is where the cyber security, again, this is another field where people can get a lot of job opportunities, and this is how the world is going to work. So please always see all the 9 points from two things. One is these are all the job opportunities which are already created and going to get created in the next future, and this is the environment which you are going to use. Okay, so even if you are not there in these 9 parts, let's assume like Merlin, we are in L&D and we are in HR. So even there, these technologies are going to have an impact. So this is the two base where you can see this particular awareness session. So cyber security is very important in today's thing because of all this transformation happening. I will say out of all the nine, cyber security is the one which has still not catched up to the speed of the other eight, because still we see a lot of hacking happening and a lot of flaws happening in the cyber security. So firewalls, more and more, better and better firewalls need to come, better and better antivirus need to come, because you have hackers. Okay, so you have hackers coming in and they are trying to do new things, anti-spyware, strong passwords, everything need to happen. My LinkedIn account so far has been hacked 5 6 times. Okay, so whatever I do, it keeps on happening. Okay, so and the incident also happened where the guy has hacked. I found out, I changed the password. The next half an hour he changed the password, then again I changed the password. It was keep on happening. Then I changed to the double authorization method. Then it stopped. Okay, so where you have to put a password and also you have to put a OTP which you normally get in your message. So my LinkedIn is very vulnerable because my LinkedIn is very strong. I have 22,000 connections. So somebody wants to use the connection. They have actually tried using the connection. After hacking, they sent a message asking for money. Normally for Facebook, it happens, you have seen. But in LinkedIn also it happens. So we need to have a better and better and better security systems. So just to summarize the nine components of Industry 4 revolution. So we see advanced robotics. That's the first one where I gave you an example of things getting served through robots. IoT, where the products are getting connected, control it from your computer systems. Big data decisions on data and analytics. Augmented reality, where the German tourism company used this particular technology for tourism, and a lot of games today using AR, VR. Horizontal vertical integration for organizations, where the organizations in the similar industries come together to reduce cost and improve efficiencies. Organizations which have a deep pocket take up the entire supply chain so that they become very cost effective. Simulation done in a controlled environment so that the cost of testing in the real environment and failure is less. Cloud technology, where we save all the data in cloud. Additive manufacturing, where you don't have anything to start with and you put parts to the structure and then take that part out alone so that the energy is saved and the cost is saved. Cyber security to safeguard all our data and other storages which we have in cloud. So this is a quick awareness on the 9 parameters of Industry 4 revolution. If we see in the next 5, 10, 15 years how this is going to have an impact on various industries, the environment which we are working now is the food preparation industry is going to use this. They are going to automate a lot so that their production cost, particularly the foods which they would like to do in bulk, so they will do it with these technologies, so their cost becomes very 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 efficient. Construction, as I told you, US and Europe are already using this particular technology. India will catch up. Asia, China is using it. I'm not sure about Japan, but if every other country in the world picks up this type of a construction technology, that is going to be very very cost effective, very fast. So that is the industry which we are seeing in the next 5-10 years picking up. So those are all the industries which are going to have an impact because of Industry 4 revolution. Cleaning, there are already in many airports you can see robots cleaning the floors, so that's another cost effective thing. Driving, we know in Dubai we already have a driverless cab which is on test. You know, this Google car, Google cab, etc etc and all that. So driving is another place where this is going to get used. Agriculture, I was told that IIT Kochi is doing a lot of projects in using this Industry 4 revolution in agriculture to improve the yield, the quality, etc. etc. Garment manufacturing, most of the very good high manufacturing industries have already automated almost 70-80 percentage. They have already automated everything. Now the most of the garments, the design happens in computer, and then immediately the manufacturing in the plant happens very quickly. So the designing happens in the computer and it comes to the factory, it quickly gets manufactured using the technology. Personal services, secretarial services are getting automated using these technologies. Sales, as I told you, big data and analytics is impacting sales in a very, very big manner, including customer service. Nowadays, we get a lot of customer service call, which are recorded calls. Earlier, we used to get calls from people with voice and that they speak to us. Now, today, it is an automated call and it is a recorded call. Business administration, overall these technologies are helping, particularly big data and analytics is helping them. IT as a industry is growing because of using all these technologies. Science and engineering for manufacturing, simulation, etc etc. Healthcare also on simulations. Hospitality and retail management. Politics, yes, politics, there are courses today. There are courses today how to become a better politician, right? So there are courses today. It's not a normal BA political science, MA political science. I'm not talking about that politics. I'm talking about the advanced management course in politics. There are universities today providing that who want to take up a career in politics, right? So either become a politician or you become a political analyst. So again, data is being used. Teaching, we all know today, Zoom and other online teaching tools are available. So those are all the few industries which we see are going to have a major positive impact because of Industry 4 revolution, right? So Lakshmi, should we go for a quiz or we take up a Q&A and then go for a quiz?
I think maybe it would be good to have those Q&A addressed, Dr. Venkat, and then get going with
Right.
the Q&A.
Fantastic. Great. So Merlin, how would you like to go with Q&A?
Yes, Dr. Vinket, thank you very much. So I would like to read out the questions of those who have asked. So I would like to start with Wada. So Wada asked that she said she didn't catch what is the keyword of the fourth industrial revolution.
Okay, so the fourth industrial revolution, like the first, second, and third, it is not one or two. Because in the first industrial revolution, we saw only steam. Second, we saw assembly line production and electricity. Third is computers. Four is all these nine. So these nine together is a industry 4 revolution. So if you ask for a keyword, these nine things are the keywords for the industry 4 revolution. I think he or she is getting ready for the quiz. The question looks like that.
Yes, and actually, it's a she. Wada, she's
Okay,
from Oman. Yes.
right.
So I
Okay,
believe
great.
Wada, the doctor answered your question. If yes, can you just, use a symbol so that we know that you've been asked? Okay, thanks, clear. Thank you very much, doctor. And Habla Zainab asked if could we say that the Industrial Revolution started before the 18th century from the human being started to do agriculture, created papyrus, etc. Can we say that Industrial Revolution started from the first civilization?
Absolutely, Abla. Yes, we can say definitely. Okay, so because when the wheel was invented, so that's the first invention we all know. We can even call that as Industry 4 Revolution. Yes, it is. But why we are calling now as Industry 4 Revolution is there are too many things happening. But again, it did not happen together. If you see, it happened for the last 20, 30 years. It happened one by one. So in that way, yes, you are absolutely right. We can call that happened at the initial stage itself. Absolutely right. Very
Okay,
good thought process.
thank you very much, doctor, and thank you, Zainab, for your question. And Habishek asked, one more parameter of the fourth industrial is digital twin. Could you let me know about this?
Digital?
Okay, one more parameter of industrial 4.0 is digital twin. And ask
Yes,
if you could
yes.
let him know about this.
Yes, digital twin, and there are so many other things like this which is part of it. But what happens is when we categorize into nine, it comes one under that. So otherwise, not only digital twin, there are too many other things which is actually creating. But those things are actually taking the concept from these nine things, and hence I can say it is all subclass of all this. So as a theoretical subject wise list, if we see, we have this nine, but there are so many other sub factors which are coming under this. Yes, it is part of
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. And I hope, Abhishek, this answer helped you. And while I again ask another question, in regards with the impact of industry, the figure that was shown in regard with the impact of industry fourth revolution, she asked if the graph described the current situation or the future situation.
it is a little bit of current last 1 or 2 years or 3 years, but more of future.
More future. Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. Wada, I believe it's also answered your question. And Ashvir, thank you, Wada. Ashvir asked, sir, can we please share more examples about additive manufacturing and what changes can we expect in the future regarding the same?
So one example which I already gave you is one is a screw, which is very simple pictorially. It is there. The another example is the hospital which was constructed in China during the initial COVID time. So that's another example of additive manufacturing, and the constructions which I said in US and Europe. That's the third example. So what we can expect in future depends upon for which country we are talking about. For example, I told you as in India, additive manufacturing in the typical mechanical production industries, it is, I will say, 50 to 60% of the industries which can afford to the technology, they are already using it. Others will pick up. real estate in India is going to pick up this technology in the next 10 years or so. Now, because of COVID, the real estate is slightly in the normal now. It has not gone down. So it is in the average, it's going on. Maybe after 5 years, once they start going to the previous peak levels, when cost becomes more and more and more important, and that's one of the biggest parameter in future, the real estate, sorry, the real estate industry is going to pick up this technology big time in India.
Yes. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, Wada. Here we do have another question from Abhishek. He asked, how can the fourth industry help company achieve value innovation?
I will take a very simple example which everybody can understand. Right. Um, this example where we see a robo serving the customers, wherever this robo restaurant opened, the business of that restaurant boomed like anything, and we need to reserve the table at least 1 week in advance, at least 1 week in advance. So that is the type of booking which this restaurant had in whichever big cities, either in Bangalore or in Chennai or in Mumbai when they opened. So this is the type of business which has happened. So this is the impact which this new technologies is going to bring in.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I believe, Abhishek, you've been answered. Shivangi asked a question here saying, sir, as you said, in coming years, robots will replace the manpower. So can we say that in coming years, there will be a less job opportunity in such big companies who are able to afford such power?
Uh, no, robo will never replace all human job. It cannot happen. It will not become affordable to all the organizations. So the labor will continue, the manual requirement will continue, but the percentage will slightly decrease. Job wise, to give a better understanding, maybe 25, 30 years back or 35 years back, we never had a big industry called IT software industry. Now today, because of all the software, we have a software industry. Whatever job loss which has happened in the traditional industry, it has moved to IT, and it has created more job opportunities also. So the shift will happen, and the shift will provide more job opportunity, but the basic thing will still remain. Now today there are organizations which are using SAP. So we know SAP, Oracle, it's a cost. Very big organizations can only afford that. We also know after SAP there are various other affordable ERP packages. So there are organizations which has not gone to SAP but use a second level ERP packages. But there are some organizations, very small organizations, which cannot afford any ERP, will still working on Excels. So Excel is the major thing which still many small organizations which cannot even afford a ERP are working in Excel. Okay, so we have Tally also in between. After the second level ERP, we have a third level where they use only finance. They want finance department, accounts department to be automated for a better bookkeeping records. They use Tally. There are certain organizations which don't even have money to spend on Tally. They use only Excel. So these four are existing today. So we cannot say that if the SAP has come, then every other thing are going to go away. No, people who can afford SAP will afford SAP. The next level ERPs, then only Tally type of software, then only Excel. So everything will coexist, but the percentage will differ, and the job opportunities will be more. So more on big data, more on analytics, more on IoT, more on automation is going to come from the traditional way. So this also socially, if we see the people who are going to universities, colleges, the literacy rate and the literacy of postgraduates, the literacy of engineers, it's increasing. So that is also showing a shift that people who are working in these type of manual traditional industries are slowly reducing, and on the other side, the intellectual industry is increasing.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Doctor, I would like to ask a question in regard of the answer you've just given from Shivangi question. I want to know, so it will create job opportunities, but then wouldn't it only create job opportunities for people who are more educated and who went to the university level?
So that's what I'm saying. Now more people have started going to universities. More people are
Yes.
doing PGs.
Mhm.
So that is also increasing. So I know the number of engineering colleges which were there 25 years back in India particularly and now. So there are more opportunities available. So when more engineering colleges open up, the cost comes down. So the affordability increases. So it's a complete chain which happens.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. And thank you, Shivangi, from your question. Manal also asked a question here. She said, sir, people are already talking about the ER5. Can you give us small insights of that as well?
Yes. So IR5, there's no concept which has come still, but people are saying that this Industry 4 revolution is going to go to the next level because if you see Industry Revolution 1 to 2, the gap was huge. 2 to 3, slightly reduced. 3 to 4, it's only some 20, 30 years. Now 4 to 5 is going to happen 10, 15 years. So people have started speaking about IR5, where they are saying that it is going to come, but what it is, some experts are saying whatever technologies we already have in IR4, that is going to take a next level and more advanced. As we see computers in Industrial Revolution 3 also, and most of the things in Industrial Revolution 4 is also computer based. So like that, it's an advancement or better utilization of computer. So like that, from 4 to 5, all these technologies will take the next level, and that is going to be IR5. But still, we don't have any clear framework of what IR5 is. So the experts have started speaking about it because of the speed of the transformation.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you, Manal, for your question. Jemina asked here, how can engineers can direct themselves in order to be effective in this fourth industrial revolution?
So very basic thing is computer literacy. That is very, very basic. So you need to know some programming. Earlier, only the computer science engineers will do programming and a little bit of electrical electronics guys. Mechanical guys will never talk about programming, but that's not the scenario today. So that is why we see a lot of languages are being already covered in the school stage itself. So that's basic. Computer is basic. Number two, if you ask a general question globally, if you ask anybody who is either studying in the high school, college, or just joined, what is the subject which is very, very tough, where you found it very difficult during your school days? Most of the people will say mathematics. Right? So that's a challenge. Tomorrow, everything is going to be based on data, analytics, statistics. So now people need to have that orientation of data, analytics. So that's one thing which the engineers or anybody else need to change. The first one is computer literacy, programming, so that you understand. So you don't need to work in that area. You can still be a traditional manufacturing guy in the mechanical industry. But the environment which we are going to work is more of automated, more of computer programming. So we need to have that basic. And a lot of reports is going to come based on data, analytical reports. So we need to have a blend of mind to understand those analytical reports. So engineers or non-engineers, anybody, these two basic things they need to have. The next is, if you want to make a career, so this introduction, as I told you, is one is to see whether you can make a career in this. The other is, even if you are not interested in these things, I'm very not so friendly with computers, but still you need to understand in which environment you are going to work so that you can fine tune yourself. So you need to see what type of engineer you are. If you don't want to take up all these things, but you would like to do in the traditional manner, computer programming basic and data analytics basic is required. But if you feel that no, I want to utilize the advantage of Industry 4 revolution and I would like to do something, then see out of these 9, which is your interest areas. Is it more of IoT? If you're blend of mind, because some people like IoT, some people will like simulation. So now you have the 9 framework. So try to see where your interest areas, where your skill sets are there. and try to do a course on that and get yourself qualified, certified. You will get a fantastic career.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you, Jemima, for your question. So, Patricia Mukobe asked, Sir, in countries like DRC, are you sure that this fourth industrial revolution can take place?
Yes. DRC is the third poorest country in the world. There are only two countries below DRC. So, yes, it is possible. But to what extent, how much affordability, it depends. So it cannot happen in DRC the way it can happen in India or in US or in Europe. But still, at a lower, very lower level, already there are organizations which are using data. Okay, big data and analytics, even the organization where I am part of currently, we are using big data and analytics, which is part of Industry 4 revolution. So wherever it is possible, affordable, it will happen, and it is already happening in DRC also.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And Ankita, and thank you, Patricia, for your question. Ankita asked, Sir, what is the scope of HR analysts in near future in terms of job opportunities?
HR analyst jobs are already there for the last 4 or 5 years. Very big organization where you have 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 1 lakh employees. Data plays a major role, which is the first company which started. Infosys, Wipro started having this HR analyst position long back because they crossed 1 lakh employee. I think if I'm not wrong, almost 10 years back, they crossed that number. So very big organization where they have a lot of employees. HR analyst is already a part. I will not say that future, it is already there. There are many institutes which are already providing HR analytical courses certifications. And I know a lot of people have already got certified and they are doing this. Future is there and it's already there. It's already very competitive. Even today, as we speak, it is very competitive as well.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you, Ankita, for your question. I believe it has been answered. Jemima asked another question saying, how can engineers direct themselves in order for them to be effective in this fourth industrial revolution, especially students?
So again, this is already answered, but I will just give a quick recap of it. If you are an engineer who just would like to become in the core, go mechanical, electrical, core, I don't want any IT related, basic things, mathematics and computer programming. If you want to take up a career and take up the opportunity, see which is the one, is the robotics which is of more interest to you, do robotics. Or AI, ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning is your liking. It all depends what is your blend of mind. So you can go and do that. Depending upon which engineering you are doing, what is your specialization. Based on that, you can pick up the area, and definitely you need to specialize in that area. Be an early entrant. AI, ML, I will still say it is in the early stage. So be an early entrant. People who are doing a proper course in the next 3, 4, 5 years in AI and ML are going to have a fantastic career. Now today we say IT software, so it's just a very normal thing today. But it all started some 25 years back. So that is how AI ML is going to be after 10 years. So that's going to be the norm. So the number of opportunities students are going to get in AI ML is going to be huge. And don't do a 6-month course, 3 months course, certificate course. That will help you to settle down at a middle management level or a lower management level as an assistant. But if you want to really become a AI and ML expert, if you are in engineering, try to take up specialization of AI.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you, Jemima, for your question. Abhishek asked again, in your opinion, the industry fourth generation new risk in the current manufacturing industry?
Rather than risk, I will say it is an opportunity. It's only an opportunity. Yes, IT, data, as I told you, my LinkedIn was hacked. That's a risk. Those risks are there. But how do we take care of the risk? So that industry is again growing. Okay, so the antivirus industry, the firewall industry, so that particular vertical of IT is also growing. So it's not a risk. The risks are always there, but we should see it as an opportunity. Now today we have a vertical called as ethical hacking, which never existed a few years back. So, but today that's a very thriving industry. So any risk is can always be converted into an opportunity.
Okay, Doctor. And he added on the question, I believe that you stated what are the risk factors and how to identify them. And then he asked, how can we assess and measure the level of this new risk?
New risk, instead of measuring, I will say, please see what is the opportunity available. So we cannot measure it at this point of time because these 9 technologies are evolved technologies. Okay, a robo can malfunction and it can create a problem in the production field. Yes, it is possible. So even if you do so much of simulation, still failures can happen. So apply Six Sigma. So in Six Sigma, you have 2 type of projects. One is DMAC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So DMAC is one approach where the existing process is better. But there is a second type of approach which is called as FMEA. So FMEA is failure mode effect analysis, where they will brainstorm and brainstorm and brainstorm and identify how and all problems will come and failures will come before even going to the real life scenario. So they put down everything through a brainstorming exercise. Then they will try to plug all these such that the final product which is coming out is almost foolproof. So Six Sigma is one concept where we can use to analyze the risk, find out the risk, mitigate the risk even before it goes down.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, Abhishek. Karusha asked a question saying, in terms of the 4th industrial revolution, what's your perspective on how legislation will change in general and related to labor? And what about special levies that may be imposed?
So levies, I'm not very sure. I'm not an expert on that. But on the legislation side, we already have on data. There's already a lot of legislation. We know the recent discussions, debates which happened regarding WhatsApp in India and in other countries. So legislative changes will keep coming to take care of the data security of individuals and also of organization. Related to labor, there are many organizations, there are many countries where the IT is already categorized in the union and they can also start union. There are certain countries across the globe which have done that. So because there will be more IT people working, and wherever it is not covered under certain labor laws and under the union category, it is getting covered to safeguard the interest of the people who are working. So those type of legislative changes will come. Levies, I'm not very sure about.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you, Karusha, for your question. Zainab asked another question here saying, could we say that in the future, the demand of job in big data will be more important than job in the digital domain, like marketing digital? If I understood very well from your presentation, the impact of big data is more than the impact of the digital.
Yes and no, but what I will say is to do digital marketing, you need data. Right? So the big data is going to give the input to do digital marketing. For example, the example which I shared, where I started getting the digital marketing advertisements in my right side tab of in my laptop for IIM entrance examination course is based on the data. So that's digital marketing. So for the digital marketing, data gives the input. What type of marketing we should do, who is a target audience. It will go hand in glove.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you for the question. Doctor, I would like to ask you, we do have 7 more minutes, if I can say 5 more minutes for the session to be over.
Right.
Um,
Should we go for the
should we
quiz?
continue? Yes, should we continue addressing the questions or not?
Or should we do the quiz?
Doctor, that will definitely depend on you because your
Right. So
time is
let's
quite
go for
precious.
the
Yes.
let's go for the quiz so that we will
Yes.
have some fun as well. We have answered, I
Okay.
think we have answered around 10, 12 questions, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, we did. Yes, Doctor, we did. So maybe for others, maybe we'll see a way on answering the questions another time.
We can always,
Oh, yeah.
if we have the email IDs of participants, we can always
Yes.
reply to them and give the responses.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you everyone for your questions.
For the quiz, I would request you people to take a mobile, or if you have another system next to you, go to menti.com, okay, and use the code there. I have shared the code 297035517. That is the code, and you have to put your name because we will get the response used on name. The system Menti itself will give a default name. So please don't go with the default name, put your name so that we can see. We will have leaderboard at the end of each and every questions. I have around 5 or 6 questions. We will have leaderboard at the end of each and every questions. So put your name so that we can address you correctly. The scoring is based on 2 things. One is for the right answer, and among the people who have given the right answer, how quickly they have given the right answer. So somebody who has given the answer in the 5 seconds will get a slightly lesser score than the person who have answered in 4 seconds. So that's how it works out. But both of them will get score, but the scores will differ how quickly you have answered. While attempting to answer the question quickly, please don't click the wrong answer. This is what happens when we are working under pressure in timed questions, okay? Because it will look like that A is the answer, but actually B will be the answer. So take your time, at least for the first question. Don't go wrong, because if you do wrong, it is complete zero. At least if it is right and if it is slow, you get some point at least. Instead of 1000, you get 900 or 800 or 750. If it is wrong, it is completely gone. So play safe. I'm going to stop this screen and I'm going to open the next screen if you guys are ready. Right, so we have 11 participants as of now, 12, 13. You can see the number in the below. 14. The code is 29703517. Merlin, can you please type it in the chat? 29703517. 15, 16. Any of you finding it difficult to go to Menti, please message. Wait for a few more seconds before we start the quiz. Right, so Merlin, should we start? Hello?
Yes, I believe we should start. We have I believe we should
Right.
start.
Okay, so we have 17.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't see any message in the chat where people are finding it difficult to log in. So I think we should start, right?
Dr. Vinket, one person said it's kicking me out.
Should not.
Benetton.
It should not
Yes.
happen. Should not happen unless Menti is banned in that country, wherever he or she is from.
Yes, maybe.
Okay, great. So here we go. Introduction of computers marked the start of which industrial revolution? Is it Industrial Revolution 1 or 2 or 3? 7, 6, 5. Right, so we have 13 people saying it is Industrial Revolution 3 and 4 for Industrial Revolution 2 and 2 saying Industrial Revolution 1. But as you know, the keyword for Industrial Revolution 3 is the computers. First one is steam power and second is electricity and assembly production. So let's see who is in the leaderboard. Okay. So at the end of the first question, we have Himanshu leading, and you can see under Himanshu it says fastest. So many people are the people, the list here is the correct response, and out of which Himanshu is the fastest. So he gets 961, and Ayman is second with 958. And then we have Arnab, Soni, Tejasvi, Gopal, Ashwir, Kashi, Shankita, and Melissa. Right. So this leaderboard will change after further questions. So let's move on to the second question. This is an example of what? See the picture? Is it robotic? Is it augmented reality? Or it is IoT? There is no sofa, but the picture shows the sofa. Augmented reality, 16 people. Yes, that's the right answer. It is not IoT, it is augmented reality. Let's see if there is any change in the leaderboard. Looks like Aman is going to come to the top. Yes. So cumulatively, Aman is in the top with 1929 points and Himanshu in the second with 1910. Right. So let's move to the next question. Get ready. This is an example of, is it cloud technology? Is it augmented reality? Or is it IoT? You see, there are interconnections. Wow. 15 people have given the right answer. It is IoT. It's not cloud. There are interconnections. It's not cloud technology saving, it is interconnections. Sorry, Himanshu. Don't worry, Himanshu, you can catch up if you answer the further questions. Right. So we have Aman at the top and Arnab. So though Arnab was the fastest in giving answer to this question, but cumulatively he is at number 2 as of now. So let's move. Question number 4. This is an example of, see the picture, what is written there. The first word is the key. Worm word is the key. So this is cyber security. Most of the people have got it right. Very good. Arnab and Ayman have answered both the same time. So two people we can see as the fastest for this question, but still Ayman cumulatively is on the higher side. Right, so let's move on to the next question. Fifth. So this is an example of, is this robotics? Is this additive manufacturing? Or it is augmented reality? So see there, initially nothing, and then slowly the product is coming out. Yes, this is additive manufacturing, not robotics. Arnab is slowly bridging the gap, but Aman is in the leader position. So we go to the last question. This is an example of, so there is a dummy and the medical doctors are doing something. Yeah. This is simulation. So that is a dummy. It's not a robo, it's a dummy. And they are trying to simulate a medical procedure before they do it on human beings. So let's see who's there in the leaderboard at the end of 6 questions. Aman, congratulations. So Aman is the leader and winner of this quiz. Congratulations, Aman. I think you have got, I think many people have got almost all questions right. And congratulations. Thank you. So over to you, Marlene.
Thank you very much, Dr. Venkataramanan. Actually, I thought I was fast, but whoa, there are people who are very, very fast. There are people who are faster. So thank you very much, Dr. Venkataramanan. Actually, this was a very good learning session. I really enjoyed, and I believe that all of us, we also did enjoy, and congratulations to the winner. So we will just wrap up this session, but before we do, Dr. Venkataramanan, do you want to say something?
First of all, thank you, because I know it's a Sunday. Spending time on Sunday for learning, that will be our last option. So, but people took their time out to listen to me. So, first of all, thank you for that. And of course, Lakshmi, one of my guru, thank you for giving me one more opportunity to address various people and create an awareness. So, in the last 1.5 years, I would have done some 25, 26 sessions on Industry 4 revolutions alone. So it's good to educate, and being a HR professional, I like doing that. And thank you, Merlin. Been a nice host. And thank you for all the participants for actively participating in the quiz as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Venkataramanan. I just wanted to go a little bit back to what we've learned today. And I would like to ask if we do have key takeaways of today's webinar. Any participants?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank you very much, Dr.
So, like Dr. Venkataraman, I would like to thank on behalf of our team for giving us such an insightful experience, first of all. We have got a better understanding of the Industrial Revolution 1, 2, 3, and obviously the in-depth understanding of Industrial Revolution 4. Thank you for explaining the concepts like horizontal as well as vertical integration and how is it impacting today's HR industry or a general industry as of now. And sir, thank you for giving us the insights on the certain things that the Industrial Revolution 4.0 consists of, that is IoT, simulation, cloud technologies, and etc. I think this knowledge would help us in our journey in our respective careers ahead, and it would greatly help us to go ahead in whatever future endeavors we take. We again like to thank you for this such a beautiful webinar, and would like you to host again, and you can join us again for such a great learning. Thank you, sir.
Sure, sure. Always, always, Gopal. Thank you. Marlene, can we also listen to Eamon? We will give an opportunity to speak, the winner of the quiz.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm Ahmed, right? Yeah, it was a great presentation. Like, it was pretty interesting of how our current life and like our past life, how it's like going on and how it might affect our future itself. And yeah, like this is the kind of stuff like I'm interested in for a long. I've been interested in for a long time. So yeah, this was my kind of a webinar. Yeah,
Great,
thanks a
great.
lot.
Where are you from, Eamon? Where are you?
I'm from Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Great.
Yeah.
So let me also invite Arnab, number 2. It's very, very, very close. Arnab, like to say some few words?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, Arnab.
Yes, you are.
Yes, thank you so very much. This session was very, very informative. And I guess what we studied today is something that has become absolutely indispensable in our daily lives. Like everywhere we go, in whichever field or whichever profession, whichever sector of education that we are presently in, we definitely require the basics of data and computer and electronics. So thank you so very much, sir. It was very, very, very great. And I would really appreciate if I would get the opportunity to attend this webinar of this sort hosted by you again. Thank you so very much.
Sure, sure, Arnab, please. And I will also request the 40-50 people here. You can find me in LinkedIn. Just go and type Dr. Venkataramanan. You will find me there. So let's get connected through LinkedIn as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. And there's also a message on the group. They are also saying a lot of thanks to you, Doctor, and that the session was very informative. So to wrap up, I would like to invite Mem Lakshmi, who is the co-founder of Culture Legions.
Okay, so thanks for everyone, all the attendees. Thank you so very much for taking out that time on Sunday, right? As Dr. Venkat already mentioned. And glad to know that it was really informative for all of you. And Dr. Venkat, I mean, the thanks and everything is already there. Thank you so, so very much for making this so informative. And without taking your permission too, I would say that let's again get on to another webinar, informative webinar, maybe in the month of August, if that's okay with you, So
yeah, sure, sure.
Wonderful. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being such sports on a Sunday. And thank you so much, Dr. Venkat.
Thank you. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you all. Thank you, Marlene.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much, Lakshmi. And there's also a link that Kashish shared in the group. So please, everyone, can you please just fill up and then send us the link back? And after this session, you will also receive a certification of attendance. Thank you very much, Dr. Venkataraman. Thank you very much, Lakshmi. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Kashish wants to take a group picture.
Yes, Kashish.
If every one of us can just switch on their cameras for just 1 or 2 minutes, please. Can we have more people on board, please?
Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, there are many pretty looking faces. Thank you. Okay.
Kashish?
Yeah.
Fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kashish. Thank you very much, all of you. Dr. Venkat, thank you to you, especially to your time as well. It was very precious to us. Thank you to all. And again, enjoy your Sunday. And let's hope we meet again for other exciting session like the one that we had.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.